Welcome back to Hump Day Hormones. Today we're going to GLP-1 Summer School. A few years ago, nobody had heard of GLP-1 medications. Now they're everywhere. Some people think they're a miracle. Others think they're dangerous. And most women are kind of stuck in the middle, like just trying to figure out what's actually true. Today, we're going to GLP-1 Summer School, and we're going to answer real questions that we hear in clinic every day. Welcome to Hump Day Hormones. I am Dr. Jill Jennings, a board-certified OBGYN and Menopause Society certified practitioner.
And I'm Courtney Spann, a nurse practitioner. We work at the Women's Clinic in Little Rock, Arkansas, on the campus of Baptist Health. We are here to talk about all things female hormone related, from puberty to menopause and everything in between. We are here to inform you from a medical point of view about the latest scientific evidence in the world of hormones.
You can find us on social media, Facebook and Instagram, as well as YouTube as Hump Day Hormones. And you can email us your questions or topics for the show at humpdayhormones@gmail.com. We just wanted to have a quick little disclaimer that everything we talk about here is for informational and supportive purposes only, and this is not medical advice, as we are not your provider. Your body is unique, and so be sure to chat with your healthcare provider before making any changes to your healthcare routine. Welcome back. We are back from vacation. Courtney and I have both been to the beach.
We have. We went to Turks and Caicos a couple weeks ago, and it was so beautiful.
Yeah, we went somewhere a little less glamorous. We just went down to Perdido Key, right past Orange Beach, for the family vacation.
So nice, though.
So nice.
Love a good beach trip.
I know. We had a couple days of like double red flags, like basically do not get in the ocean. It was so rough. And then we had one full day of rain and then kind of spotty rain. And now it's raining here. Like, just stop raining. It is June.
Literally. I feel like we've had such a weird summer already. Like all this rain and like some cooler weather. I don't know. It's weird. I'm ready for like some real summer.
I know. And my little boy, I take him to summer camp today down in Hot Springs. And I'm like, it doesn't need to rain at summer camp. So I'm ready for it to stop raining. But
yes,
while I was driving to the beach, I was trying to think, it's like an 8-hour drive down there. And so I was trying to think of like how to efficiently use my time, and wanted to kind of plan for podcasts when I got home so I wouldn't have to think about it the whole time I was on vacation. And so I was like, okay, I was going to the beach. So I was thinking about trying to be skinny in my swimsuit, and it just kind of naturally led me down the GLP-1 road because we get a lot of questions about GLP-1s. We get a lot of questions about weight gain. That's one of the main things that happens in perimenopause and menopause. And so naturally GLP-1s come into the conversation for weight loss. And then we're starting to see them used so much more for like inflammation and PMOS, the old version of PCOS. I mean, that's kind of the hallmark of what they target, is that metabolic syndrome, insulin resistant stuff. So we have a lot of uses for those beyond like just being skinny.
For sure.
So today we're going to talk about all the things like Semaglutide, Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, Mounjaro, Tirzepatide, and even Retatrutide, because like what the heck is that? And then also what is up with compounding, because it's kind of the only affordable way you can get those. So unless you've been under a rock for the last 2 years, you kind of probably know something about this. The science is evolving quickly, but we just want to kind of get down to the science of it and talk all about it. And then my big thing is like, I don't know, I feel like skinny is not even that cool anymore. It's like cool to be healthy
and strong.
That's right. Yeah. And especially as we age, because like we talked about last episode with Susan Campbell, we can't not age, right? Anti-aging is not a thing, but we can age well. And so when I prescribe GLP-1s, I'm more doing it not so you can be skinny and look cute in your swimsuit, but so that you're not insulin resistant and don't become a diabetic and have lower risk of heart disease and things like that.
That's right. And help with some of that visceral fat that will just kind of naturally accumulate during menopause, and kind of through your menopause transition. And, I think obviously I feel like everybody knows about GLP-1s at this point, but I feel like the majority of our patients are like, okay, I get the whole hormone thing, I'm on board for hormones, but I'm still struggling with my weight and things like that. And I think that GLP-1s can be a great tool. There's still some like fear around it, I think just because initially kind of, people are losing like 50 pounds in 3 months. Like that's crazy.
Right.
Right. So I think there's still some like, I don't know, I don't want to do that, but can it be helpful? So
yeah. And I think I wanted at first when we really started diving into this hormone stuff, I wanted like hormones to be the answer. Like, well, if you have estrogen on board, then maybe your body won't need to produce so much visceral fat. Like it won't be starving for other ways to make estrogen that comes from that fat. And so, maybe we'll slow the roll of our weight gain just with hormones. Like I wanted that to be the answer. Like you won't have as much cortisol dysregulation and you won't make as much visceral fat and all this stuff. But sometimes, at the end of the day, like estradiol is a lot of great things and it does help your inflammation and it does help your cortisol and all those things, but it's not a weight loss medication. And so,
and I don't know anybody going through like this whole hormone transition that doesn't say something about their weight. It is very uncommon if somebody does not have a weight complaint, whether it's 10 pounds or 75, honestly.
Yeah. And we're going to touch on this here in a little bit. It's like on the plan somewhere, but hormones can help with a GLP-1, right? Like they can work synergistically together. So it doesn't have to be one or the other, or it doesn't have to be like, man, if I would get my hormones corrected, I shouldn't need this GLP-1. Cause like we talk about all the time, sometimes by the time we got to perimenopause and menopause, we were already so cortisol dysregulated and insulin resistant. We're going to have something to directly help those things. And estrogen is a part of that puzzle, but what if GLP-1s are a part of that puzzle too? So let's just get into it. Before we get into basically I have there's kind of 10 questions that we kind of get answered or asked all the time in clinic that I just wanted to go through. But before we get to the questions, let's just start with what is a GLP-1? Because I feel like most people don't even know. They just know Ozempic.
Yes. Yeah. So GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide 1. And so it's a hormone that your body already makes naturally. It's released from the intestines after you eat. And this has a huge kind of connection with gut health. You're going to have better GLP-1 production if you have better gut health. I feel like everything kind of circles back to that. So, that hormone specifically sends several important messages. It tells your pancreas to release insulin whenever your blood sugar goes up. So after you eat, it tells your liver to make less glucose. It slows how quickly food leaves your stomach. And it kind of sends that signal to your brain telling you that you're full. And so these medications, like the GLP-1 medications, are essentially just kind of giving your body additional support there, adding in some extra GLP-1.
Yeah, I think the difference is I think most people don't even know their gut naturally makes it. We didn't make this up in a lab and just create a medication about it. It's like biohacking, you're hacking into this peptide that you naturally make, but we make it in the shortest spurts. It lasts for minutes when we naturally make it. When you give yourself a shot, we're giving you kind of this sustained level of it for about a week with these shots. And so that's the difference is you're no longer relying on these little spurts from your own gut. You're kind of just giving it all the time. And if I think, like Courtney was saying, if we don't have good gut health, then we make less GLP-1 in the whole first place. And so we have done an episode on that before about how to like basically biohack your GI microbiome and make you produce naturally more GLP-1s. That's a very interesting thing, but would be sort of a whole nother podcast. So, and then I think most people get them all confused. Like first we have like the standard GLP-1. It's one peptide. It's what's in Semaglutide, which is under the brand name Ozempic and Wegovy, which is always so freaking shady to me that the FDA can do that. Like it's the same drug. You just got a new patent because you got a new indication. So Semaglutide, the GLP-1 compound, is FDA approved as Ozempic to treat diabetes.
That's right.
And
that's the one that kind of hit the market first. And it's actually been out for a really long time.
3-4 years maybe. But like it is not going to get approved if you're not diabetic.
That's right.
That's it. Your A1C has to be above 7, which is like, you're not just kind of diabetic at that point. Like you're for real deal diabetic, and you've probably been insulin resistant for 15 years at that point. But it is going to be strictly for diabetes and really, really almost impossible to get covered any other way. And then Wegovy, which is also semaglutide, is FDA approved for weight loss. So
same medication, all different names.
But then insurance was like, oh yeah, well, we don't cover weight loss. So that's on most people's plan, an exclusion to the policy because weight loss is considered cosmetic. And I'm not agreeing with that, but I'm saying that from an insurance company standpoint, that's the way that's looked at. But Wegovy and Ozempic are the same thing. They're both semaglutide. You can also get compounded semaglutide, and we'll talk about that. And then we have Tirzepatide, which Tirzepatide is the same thing as Mounjaro. And then also, again, FDA approved as Zepbound. So, and it's the same thing. Mounjaro is for diabetes, and then Zepbound is for weight loss and also has a sleep apnea indication. So, I mean, those are the strict FDA, approvals on those. But semaglutide, Ozempic, Wegovy, Tirzepatide is Zepbound and Mounjaro. So, and then the difference in like Tirzepatide and semaglutide is that Tirzepatide is a dual peptide. So it's not just GLP-1, it's GLP-1 plus this thing called a GIP. And the GIP is released when we're eating, and it helps with insulin signaling. And so, that is like going to help more with the metabolic dysfunction that comes along. So semaglutide, I think if we think of it like it is helping with that insulin signaling, but it's really working on a lot of the appetite stuff, making you feel full, making you not feel hungry. I think Tirzepatide is doing a little bit more on the insulin signaling side of things because of this added GIP that goes with it. So
I do find, and I think we're going to talk about this too, just from like my own observation with patients, patients tend to tolerate the Tirzepatide a little bit better with like less GI effects. And we're seeing a little bit, for the most part, I feel like better like weight loss with it.
And that's
so
definitely
I think
like,
And I'm super interested about like retatrutide, because it's like GLP-3. So is it going to be even more?
Like, it has a third peptide in it. So it's like a triple threat. So, but so I think if we just get into the questions, and this kind of speaks to what Courtney was talking about the, like, how much weight are you really going to lose? And we have good scientific evidence for that really on all 3 of these peptides at this point. But the step 1 trial, answers that question about really kind of how long semaglutide's been around. 2021 showed that semaglutide produced an average of 15% weight loss. over about 16 months. So you do have to use these things. You can't use it for 3 months and lose 15% of your body weight, but you will probably lose, 5%, or, you'll lose something. But the average 15% over 16 months. And then there's a trial called the Surmount-1 trial, and it was the one that looked at Tirzepatide, and it showed a 20+%, so 20 or maybe even a little bit more in about 17 months. Obviously, you're going to lose more on higher doses of these medications. We have studies that show, and then when we talk about retatrutide later, you'll see it's up to like 25% or closer even sometimes to 30% in the trials. And so that's a big deal because that approaches like what we see with bariatric surgery. Yeah. And so, we potentially could eliminate the need to be doing gastric bypass and things like that, which is insane.
Yeah.
And I would say from an insurance company standpoint, wouldn't it be a lot cheaper to pay for that? But anyway.
Yeah. Which brings us to the next question. Is it just for weight loss? We're learning more about these medications, I feel like every day, and we're kind of learning more about like the insulin side of things and inflammatory side of things that this can be helpful in. So no, it's not just for weight loss. And like we said, like being healthy and strong is kind of more of the goal now, not just like being super skinny.
Yeah.
So kind of the cool thing is GLP-1 receptors are found throughout the body, including the brain, the heart, the kidneys, the immune system. So if those receptors are there, the GLP-1 can potentially be helpful in those areas. This is a big area of like active research, and there's some established benefits already out there and large clinical trials going on. There's a lot of info about like cardiovascular disease and heart failure, and it shows reduced risk of heart attack, stroke, and cardiovascular death in high-risk patients, which is huge. Heart disease is the number one killer of people in the United States. So this can be helpful there. That's massive.
Yeah. And I think it's really cool that semaglutide demonstrated the cardiovascular benefit even in people with obesity who did not have diabetes. So these drugs were kind of like designed as diabetes drugs and then have sort of become obesity drugs because we figured out, that they work so well, even in a non-diabetic person. And so I also think it's one of those, sometimes when you read like headlines for medical studies, sometimes I always think like, well, no shit, right? Thank you, Captain Obvious. Like, it'll be like, these weight loss drugs reduce your risk of heart attack. Like, well, no crap, right? If you are not morbidly obese anymore, you have less risk of heart attack. So some of it seems like kind of common sense. Like, did we need a whole probably $1 million worth of trials to figure out that if you lose weight and you are healthier, that you're going to have less cardiovascular
and I think that's the thing with sleep apnea too.
Yeah.
Clearly if you lose weight, your sleep apnea risk is going to go down.
Yeah. And I think that to me, it's like so obvious about like inflammatory things. Like if we lose visceral fat, we talk about this all the time, how inflammatory visceral fat is. Yeah. And like if we lose visceral fat, we're going to decrease our inflammation, which that's like pretty obvious to me. I feel like you wouldn't even have to have a study to make me believe you about that.
Right.
But it is always, I guess, handy, and we're not going to be able to convince everybody without a study. But another thing they have a big, like large clinical trial to support is kidney disease. So we slow the progression of chronic kidney disease in patients with diabetes. Again, Captain Obvious, we make your diabetes better. We're going to ruin your kidneys at a slower pace.
Right.
And then sleep apnea, like you said. Those to me all seem like Captain Obvious. Like if you're healthier, then all of your little organ systems are going to work better and you're going to be able to breathe better if you're not as big.
Right. That's exactly right. Yeah. And some of the other kind of emerging areas that are coming out, which also kind of makes sense, but it's cool to think about too. alcohol use disorder, alcoholism. So researchers believe that GLP-1s affect dopamine and reward pathways in the brain, which makes sense. I mean, if it is kind of decreasing appetite and turning that down, I mean, that pathway in your brain, it's going to like kind of decrease your need and want, desire for like drinking alcohol, also like gambling, addictive behaviors, drugs. I mean, there's like that all kind of like falls under the same umbrella, you know. So if you can kind of turn that off, there's potential for that being helpful there.
I know. And then, I mean, so cool, Alzheimer's disease and cognitive decline. And really, it's like, okay, that sounds crazy at first, but just stop and think about it. The neuroinflammatory pathway that we think leads to Alzheimer's and cognitive decline and things like that. I mean, we've talked about that estrogen is highly anti-inflammatory and is so good for your brain. But I mean, these are directly reducing inflammation by reducing your visceral fat. And so, and then if you improve that insulin signaling in the brain and improve your brain's ability to use glucose, then that's obviously going to be really good for the neurons. Neurons run and thrive. That is their fuel, is glucose. And so if insulin's going to work better to get them their glucose, then that's just going to help everything out. And so it is kind of weird when you say that this thing that was designed as a diabetes drug now might be become one of the leading things that they give for Alzheimer's prevention. But it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. I was just listening to, I think it was this podcast that one of my best friends sent me. Her mom actually passed away last year from Alzheimer's. And so, you know, she is very interested, I think, for herself to know like Alzheimer's prevention as we age, and like, how can she not have to do that, you know? And so, but it was this podcast about this guy who has the APO4E or whatever that gene is that puts you at such high risk to have Alzheimer's. He has a double copy of that gene. So he's like,
almost guaranteed
that he's going to get Alzheimer's. And he's a big podcaster. And he's working with this like renowned this person who has an Alzheimer's prevention clinic, like up in the Northeast, some famous medical center. I can't remember which one, and they have put him on a GLP-1 almost as a preventative.
Love.
Yeah. And he takes like microdoses of a GLP-1, and he's like, I literally don't care what compound you tell me to put in my body. Like, I will do everything I can not to have to put my family, you know, through that. But they believe in it so much. And this Alzheimer's Prevention Center that is like the mecca for this believes in it so much that have him on that, you know. But again, it's gonna come down to, can you afford that? I mean, he's a big time podcaster, so he can do that. Not a small town podcaster like us. But I mean, it's going to come down to, we know these things work, but when is insurance and stuff going to get on board? But I think that's so cool that they're starting to use it that way.
Yeah, for sure. I do too. There's some other areas that are kind of coming in too. So, Parkinson's, which I feel like that kind of falls under the realm of brain things, cognitive, you know? Fatty liver disease. A lot of people are saying this is the next approved indication, which I had a patient last week who her primary care doctor got her a GLP-1 covered with the indication of fatty liver disease. So I don't know, that might already be out there enough that they're approving it. So
makes so much sense.
Osteoarthritis, which inflammatory, decreasing your weight is going to kind of help your bones. I mean, I feel like that makes sense. Yeah.
And then on the script, literally I wrote PCOS, duh.
I mean, if y'all have not connected the dots with PCOS and insulin resistance by this point, I mean, clearly.
I mean, and why that's not an FDA approved indication, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess just because nobody even understands PCOS or PMOS. But I mean, that course that Courtney and I went to, which I think Dr. Rousier is a genius, and he was that 4-part course that we went to talking a lot about hormones. And he briefly touched on GLP-1s. I think all that was out at that time was semaglutide, but he was like, these are the drug of the century. There'll never be another drug in our lifetime that does what this drug can do. It's like the penicillin of 200 years ago.
Literally.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like I say that in various ways to patients, and because they're like, what can I do to get some weight off? What can I do to help with my insulin? I'm like, I know this is crazy, but like we have the availability for like the best drug. I mean, it is going to just be, is your insurance going to cover it? And if they're not, are you going to be able to afford the compounded version?
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so will I gain all my weight back if I stop taking it? I hear that all the time. I don't want to just take this and lose the weight and then the weight comes back, which part of me just wants to be like, okay, so you just don't even want to try then? Like, we'll just stay insulin resistant and not try at all? I mean, is kind of my smart ass answer, but the honest answer is that many people will regain some weight after stopping. I think that's true though with any diet program you look at. I mean, really, if anything, like if you do Weight Watchers and you stop doing Weight Watchers, you're going to gain some weight back. If you are doing jazzercise every day and you stop doing jazzercise, I mean, like anything, this is probably true.
You were such an 80s baby.
Yes.
And I think looking at it from the like standpoint that obesity, insulin resistance, I mean, these are chronic conditions. So if you look at it the same way as like hypertension, high blood pressure, and you're put on medication for that, obviously if you stop your blood pressure medication, your blood pressure is going to go up. So it's like if you stop your treatment for chronic obesity or chronic insulin resistance or prediabetes or diabetes or whatever, then yes, the weight's going to come back. The insulin resistance is going to come back, all of that.
Yeah. So, and I think if you look at those studies too, it can't be that you use it for 2 months. That's probably not long enough to like fix the underlying problem, if you're just trying to look cute in your swimsuit in a couple months, I mean, maybe that's enough, but like, that's probably not enough to fix underlying, like, real deal insulin resistance. So that same step 1 trial that, we use talking about semaglutide and showing the weight loss and kind of to get it approved, there was an extension trial that followed patients after semaglutide was discontinued, and the participants regained about 2/3 of the weight they had lost within a year. But I think what's interesting about that is that that's with semaglutide. So I wonder if we'll see those same kind of results with tirzepatide and especially with retatrutide, because they are working so much more on the metabolic pathway side of things. And semaglutide is a lot working on your appetite, and your like food cues and like that food noise that people talk about. And so like, if you were slamming the brakes on your appetite and then you just let off, of course your appetite's going to come back. You're going to eat more. Of course you're going to gain weight.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going back to eating like not healthy things.
Absolutely. Yeah. I always kind of reinforce that to patients. Like, you have to like lay down a good foundation. I mean, you have to be doing the good things already. You have to be getting in some strength training and exercise and eating enough protein, like all the things, and then you can use this as a tool. And so, the next question is people ask, do I have to take it forever? No, you don't. I think the other question that I get asked a lot too is women that have had really good success on it. Can I take it forever? And I'm like, I mean,
but can I? And I think there's like, I mean, it's sort of the same as people say about estrogen. Like, I feel really a lot better on this. Yes. Do I have to stop it? And it's like, no. Like, at what reason do we find that you need to stop your estrogen? And like, I mean, I think the reason that you might want to stop a GLP-1 or, a dual peptide, whatever, is that you're okay. Like, I don't need to keep losing weight. Like we've all seen those people who are like, okay, put the Ozempic down, sister. Like you are skin and bones. I mean, I think there are ways to still be on them and like microdose, which just means you're using less than the standard dose, or you're spreading it out. You're doing a shot every 2 or 3 weeks instead of every week. I mean, and I think there's other ways to step down too. Like maybe we work on like our gut and our own natural GLP-1 production. Maybe we do berberine, which helps with gut health and GLP-1 production and insulin resistance. So, I mean, maybe you don't just cold turkey, like you're on, you know, a full dose and then you just stop. I think that's probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
And I think just like if we were weaning somebody off of hormones, we don't just, hey, you're taking 2 milligram oral pill every day, just stop. I mean, we wouldn't tell people to stop their hormones that way. We would kind of want to like taper them down. So I think probably the same thing would be true for GLP-1s or dual peptides, whatever. But I think you have to know that there are like, you know, some ramifications to stopping those, but that you can do other things at that point and not to stop abruptly. And that the medication was just one of the tools that you were using. It wasn't the entire treatment plan, right? There should have always been diet and exercise and all that.
Like healthy lifestyle stuff in place along with it.
Yeah.
And sometimes the confusing thing is like, what are the protocols? What are the guidelines for microdosing? There's not. I mean, you know, you just kind of have to work with your provider and find that sweet spot for you. And that's so different for everybody. That's the same with hormones. I mean, this just kind of we have to find what works the best for you, whether that's, you know, microdosing and kind of determining what that dose is for you, or spreading it out, or just kind of an ongoing conversation.
That's right. And I feel like the other thing we hear about all the time is, am I just going to lose all my muscle too? So, you know, when you lose weight and you lose weight fast, sometimes you're going to lose some lean muscle mass. Studies, there's actually like, again, not just what we think, but studies suggest roughly 20 to 40% of the weight loss during weight reduction can come from lean tissue. So this is why protein and resistance training matter. Like they mattered anyway. They matter in people not on a GLP-1 in really good shape. They matter, but they matter a whole lot more to try to combat this kind of side effect of it. Also, like there's nothing that says you have to like jump in with the biggest dose right away, right? I mean, you could start with just microdosing. So it doesn't, this medication does not melt muscle, but rapid weight loss without proper nutrition does. And so again, like this is not a unique phenomenon to a GLP-1. This is going to be true for people who go get a bariatric surgery and all of a sudden are under fueling their body. They're going to lose a lot of muscle mass too. And so this is true for just a rapid weight loss, Adipex. I mean, anything that causes you to rapidly lose weight could have the same type of side effect. So it's not a unique, just GLP-1s melt your muscle away.
Right. That's exactly right. Same thing with hair. And that's a big question that we get a lot. Will it cause me to lose my hair or get Ozempic face? Which I feel like that is like just all over. Like you see that all over, right? So I mean, if you're doing too much too fast, I mean, your hair is going to shift out of that, like just good growth phase. And I mean, you may not like grow new hair and you may shed some, but you have to look at properly like fueling your body and nourishing your body, you know? So, I mean, same kind of things that happen with like a surgery or an illness, or after you have a baby and you're postpartum. I mean, your hair shifts to that like telogen effluvium phase. And so, you know, weight loss does that as well. Significant fast weight loss does that. And I think the same thing is true from Ozempic face. That's just what people call when they lose that like facial fat, and they're, you know, I think it's like where your face is kind of more sunken in looking, those jaw
bones are more prominent, that kind of stuff. Again, that's not something unique to a GLP-1. That is something that happens with rapid weight loss. We lose fat everywhere, including in our face. So, I think that it's the question of whether the health benefits of losing the weight and becoming less insulin resistant and all that kind of stuff are going to outweigh those kind of cosmetic changes. And I think for most people, the answer is probably going to be yes. And I also think there's some people that don't have 50 pounds to lose.
Right.
And so it's not going to be that dramatic in you. Or some people we're just trying to fix your insulin resistance. I don't care if you lose weight or not. You probably will, because when I fix your insulin resistance, you can't help it. You will lose weight. But you don't have to go guns blazing and try to lose 50 pounds in 2 months.
Please don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you do that and you get to where you're just not eating because your appetite is so suppressed, then your hair's going to fall out. But it would do that if you were in a famine too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had 1 or 2 patients that I can think of off the top of my head that they went just too high, too fast. And then, we followed up in 3 months and I was like, whoa, pump the brakes, girl. They were super happy with their weight loss, but it was too fast. I mean, you've got to have somebody that is kind of overseeing that and telling you yes or no and telling you, slow down or keep going.
I know. And then we're all impatient, right?
Yes.
So they're like, I've been on this medicine for 2 months and I've only lost 5 pounds. And I'm like, okay. I mean, that's okay.
Good job.
Yeah. So I think we all want it to fall off and we're wearing a couple pant sizes less in 2 months. And that's not always going to be the case.
That's right. Yeah.
So this is one of my favorite questions is, can I take a GLP-1 with my hormone replacement therapy? And
yes,
it's
please.
Yes. And you probably should, if you're menopausal, have your hormones optimized before you get on a GLP-1. That should be kind of our first step, your moat around your castle. And then we can come in with okay, you really are menopausal, but also insulin resistant. So let's do something to target directly that insulin resistance. I mean, estrogen's one of the pieces of that puzzle. It literally helps your insulin receptor work better. But we have big studies on this. 2024 Mayo Clinic study published in the Journal of Menopause showed that weight loss response to semaglutide in postmenopausal women with and without hormone therapy. So that was literally the title. I mean, that's exactly what they were looking at. It was a retrospective cohort study. Postmenopausal women who were overweight or obese and were treated with semaglutide for at least 3 months were included in the study. And they compared women on systemic HRT versus women not on HRT. The key findings at 12 months, women on hormone replacement therapy lost 16% of their body weight. And then women not on hormone replacement therapy lost 12%. So that was a significant difference in women on hormones actually had better weight loss on these medications. So in practical terms, women using hormone therapy lost about 30% more. This is where people play with statistics, and this kind of stuff drives me crazy because, the difference in 16 and 12% is about 30% if you do those numbers.
Yes.
So that's where you kind of make it seem fancy. But women on hormone replacement therapy lost about 30% more weight than women not using hormone replacement therapy when we're talking about semaglutide here. This difference remains significant even after adjusting for potential confounders. So that would be people who were diabetic beforehand, people who were more obese beforehand. So they kind of are different ages or whatever. They adjusted for all that. You just had to be menopausal and either taking hormones or not. So
that's right.
I think, why? I mean, obviously we know estrogen improves insulin sensitivity. Estrogen helps reduce central fat accumulation. So again, like I said in the beginning, I kind of wanted estrogen to be everyone's answer. And it does do both of those things. But I think for some people, it's not the only thing they need. So, and then if we are sleeping better and we have less hot flashes and we're in a better mood, then we can probably make better food choices too. So hormone therapy improves sleep quality and vasomotor symptoms. and that, is going to make you overall feel better and be able to stick to an exercise plan. And estrogen also helps preserve lean body mass and energy expenditure. So it's good for your muscles. It's good for your bones. I would say that, we haven't really looked at this, but testosterone is probably really beneficial here as well because it's so good for muscle. But that is something that probably just needs to be looked at.
That's right. And the Mayo Clinic released a newer report this year looking at Tirzepatide, kind of found similar findings. So postmenopausal women using hormone therapy lost approximately 35% more weight than those not using hormone therapy. So a little bit better than the just semaglutide. So that study is helping drive ongoing research into the synergy between estrogen and GLP-1. So how they just work so well together.
Yeah. So the answer to, can I take them together? Yes, please do.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and then we all the time, I feel like this is true with hormones too. Is this safe? Is this going to give me cancer?
Right.
Am I going to regret taking this later? Do we have enough safety data? All this kind of stuff. I think the good news is that for most people, GLP-1s are very safe and generally very well tolerated. Again, it matters what your dose is, how fast you're ramping up, all that kind of stuff. But everybody's going to be different.
And some of the common side effects that you see are usually gastrointestinal things. So nausea, constipation, diarrhea, heartburn, vomiting. Those are usually going to be there whenever you first start or whenever you increase your dose. But some things to just kind of help combat that are going to be smaller meals, staying hydrated, eating enough protein. Those are going to help tremendously. So I think I feel like the way that we do it, going low and slow and really reinforcing, diet and those kinds of things, I feel like a lot of our patients do so well. I feel like it's rare that we see, adverse side effects.
Yeah. I know. And I feel like it's kind of like we tell our pregnant women, you need to be eating multiple small meals a day. Because that's going to be a thing on these medications. You're not going to be able to sit down and eat a big old, lunch and then a big old dinner. That's just not, it's going to probably work better for you to have 5 small meals a day. And it would be even better if those could be protein type meals.
Yep. You definitely have to do that.
Yeah. And then I think there are some potential serious risk that we have to think about and be aware of. And that is gallstones, gallbladder disease. Sometimes that stuff can get worse. And then pancreatitis has been reported. So if you're somebody who's oh, I've had pancreatitis 3 other times in my life. Well, maybe we should think about this before, a little bit harder in those people. Significant dehydration and nausea, vomiting, that can happen. If people either use too much too fast or they're just overly sensitive to these medications. There have been reports people have to go in the hospital and get IV hydration, things like that. That is exceedingly uncommon. I think I've seen that one time.
Yep.
And then delayed gastric emptying. So that's a big deal. Not for the weight loss standpoint, that helps you because it makes you feel full longer. But delayed gastric emptying is a big deal with surgery. And when you're going to go to sleep, because whatever is in your stomach, you could aspirate. And so for this reason, most procedures that are going to require anesthesia are going to want your last GLP-1 dose to have been at least a week ago. And so talk to your doctor or prescriber or whoever if you're going to have surgery about when you should stop your GLP-1 because anesthesia has some rules about that.
That's right. And then, who should not take a GLP-1?
Yeah, just so straight up contraindications.
So I feel like we've all heard this on the commercial, but if you have a personal or family history of medullary thyroid cancer, I always kind of ask people that, just to make sure. Or if you have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2.
Yes.
Those are kind of the big contraindications. If you're pregnant, you're not going to take a GLP-1 while you're pregnant. Come on, be real. Kind of the pancreatitis stuff that we talked about before. If you have a history of pancreatitis, if you have severe GI issues like gastroparesis or just severe digestive motility issues, these can slow that down even more. So you would probably not be a good candidate for GLP-1. If you have active gallbladder disease, if you are severely dehydrated anyways, if you have an eating disorder, I mean, these don't need to be part of your plan right now.
Yeah. Yeah. But I feel like in general, it's just like hormones. In general, most people are going to be a good candidate if it's done correctly.
Absolutely.
Is compounded semaglutide or tirzepatide safe? So we run into this question almost every single time we prescribe this because we're not treating diabetes.
Yep.
And so it's hard to get this stuff covered. And then it's so expensive if it's not covered. The companies themselves have come out, like Lilly Pay offers like a lower cash pay price. Still the most affordable is probably going to be to get it compounded. And so I feel like that's a complicated answer with, is that safe or not? Like I can't give a blanket yes or no, really.
I know. And I think it just matters like which compounding pharmacy that you're using. Like we have been using one for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years.
I mean,
now.
ever since you could compound these.
Yeah.
We've been using the same compounding pharmacy. And so I know how their product works.
Yeah.
I know like we haven't had, side effects kind of things off it there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and they're like an FDA registered and put themselves up voluntarily for FDA regulation. I mean, that kind of thing, because that's a thing in the compounded world. You don't have to be FDA regulated.
Right.
But you can, as a compounding pharmacy, volunteer yourself up for like, please come and test my products.
Yeah.
And then there's third party testing where you allow other people to test your products. So you need to be using that kind of place. And it's hard to know as a general consumer, is it that kind of place? And so
yeah,
you also need to be careful like that you're not, I don't know how to like not say this in a tacky way. Like some places give you the cheapest GLP-1 they can find so they can make the biggest profit.
That's right.
I mean, it's just like every other facet of business. And so this was a big profitable industry for a while and still really is. We personally don't like to necessarily profit off of a GLP-1. I'm not running a weight loss clinic up here. I'm running a like be healthy, age well, be the best version of yourself in menopause. And so I'm really not doing a lot of GLP-1s just strictly for like vanity weight loss purposes. I'm doing them to treat the gajillion other things on the list of things that they treat, which is long, and most people are going to have one. But we don't make money off of a GLP-1 given for a medical reason. That's different than a lot of med spas. And so if you're paying a ton of money and they don't know where the product came from, I mean, those are just red flags. So maybe ask, who is your compounding pharmacy? How long have you been using them? You can look up the compounding pharmacy. You can figure out if they're an FDA regulated type of place. So just ask some questions. If they don't know those answers, that's a giant red flag. So I don't know, not all compounded products are created equally. And so that's why that's a hard thing to answer. I think the compounding pharmacy we use is safe.
Yes, I would agree. Yeah. And you can go online and like get all of these medications now. Like you can just order them yourself, like off the black market or, whatever it's called. But I mean, I would advise you probably not to do that. Like I think working with, first of all, a provider, but then also just like a well-established, good compounding pharmacy that we know is good is definitely recommended. And then the next one, what is retatrutide? It
What the
is
heck?
coming. I feel like a lot of people have already kind of dipped their toes into retatrutide because they have been able to snag some. It is technically like not available yet, right? Like it's still
It's not FDA approved.
Yeah, like it's still in trials. Like I don't think that we can't get retatrutide, like prescribe it from our compounding pharmacy yet.
Our compounding pharmacy doesn't yet compound retatrutide, but there are some places, some people are getting it because we've had patients come in. But I think and that's why I like our compounding pharmacy. They're like, we just don't have enough information on that yet. And we are not currently compounding that. So, but it is a triple peptide. So GLP-1, a GIP,
Tirzepatide.
That would be like Tirzepatide, but then it has a glucagon agonist. So the glucagon agonist part is what kind of sets it apart, and they think that may improve energy expenditure and basically help with fat oxidation. Like help burn more fat and break down your fat, and so that your body uses that for energy when it thinks we have an absence of like glucose. And when you're getting your insulin down so low, then that's what your body does, is start burning fat. So I think it's going to be even more potent. The phase 3 trial released in 2026, just this year, showed approximately 28% weight loss in 80 weeks. 80 weeks is a long time. And that patients lost almost 30% of their body weight. And so the big deal there is that that's what we see with bariatric surgery. So it is more potent. So the catch is that we're probably going to see more side effects. But I saw somebody broke this down in a very simple way. Semaglutide makes you eat less. Tirzepatide makes you eat less, and it improves your metabolic signaling. And then retatrutide makes you eat less. It improves your metabolic signaling, and it potentially burns more fat. So
love that.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I feel like here in a while, we're going to have like 10 peptides in one shot.
I know. I feel like probably in the next 6 to 12 months, we'll have a whole episode on retatrutide because it's going to be out there more. We're going to know more about it. I mean, I think TBD on that. I'm interested to see.
It's like, where is the tipping point? Like, how many peptides can you put in there and it still be okay?
I know.
Like, at what point do you just inject the shot and you're skinny tomorrow?
Right.
I mean, this is getting crazy.
I know. All the like biohacking and peptides. I mean, it's definitely out there. Like it's undeniable for sure. I'm interested in all of it. I don't know enough about all of it yet, but
yeah, I mean,
we're learning every day.
There's like a peptide for everything now.
Literally.
So in closing, I feel like the biggest mistake we see people thinking is that this medication or this peptide is the entire plan. Like, this is my weight loss plan.
Yeah.
And I feel like that shouldn't be true. I feel like the medication is there and it's available and it's wonderful. And like Dr. Rouzier said, it's probably the drug of the century, but we have to have our foundations correct, which start with the very basic, like, let's sleep good. Let's move our ass. Let's, like, do the things that are readily available and honestly free to do. And then getting I put hormone therapy right up there with just like, it's basic. Like, don't
foundational for sure.
Yeah. Just like, that's your architecture, getting that stuff right. And then still at the end of the day, if we've done all those things and we're not losing weight, this is a wonderful tool. Or especially if you are very insulin resistant, either because genetically you have PCOS or something like that and you can't help it and you're just insulin resistant, or whether you're truly like a pre-diabetic insulin resistant type person and it's just so much that you need something to break that vicious cycle. So we still have to do all of our basic things. But I think that HRT helps a lot here. And we can't forget about all these foundations and just rely on this little peptide shot or triple or double or whatever to do all the work for us. So
that's right. Okay, quick reminder, everything we talk about here is for informational and supportive purposes only and is not medical advice. Your body is unique, so be sure and chat with your healthcare provider before making any changes to your health routine. What are we doing next week?
I don't even know. Maybe puppy training. We just got a puppy and my head's like spinning with like, how do we even, I feel like we have a newborn in our house again.
Oh my gosh.
So hard. So I don't really know what we'll do. Probably something easy and fun. I feel like it's the summer. Like I want it to
keep
be
it light and
And we do have a guest coming on, but we're busy. She's busy. She can't come until like kind of early fall, September. So, I don't know. We'll do something.
Yeah.
fun.
If y'all have any requests, definitely email in Hump Day Hormones at Gmail.
Yeah. If anybody wants to know about like puppy potty training, or I mean, seriously, this could be an episode. People probably want me to shut up, but like I've been driving my family crazy about it. Like, should you neuter or spay your dog? I mean, why are we taking their hormones away? I know. I want to go ask my vet this exact question, but I know they'll think I'm like batshit crazy. But as somebody who like sits here and touts hormones and all their benefits, it feels really weird to like,
I know, cut that off.
Go neuter a little 9-month-old puppy. But anyway, we're not going to really have an episode about that, but it's just something to ponder. If anybody has any ideas or if there's any vets listening, you can email me and tell me I'm completely crazy or that maybe we're onto something. Like, do they do vasectomies in dogs? Do we have to cut their balls all the way off?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me know. humpdayhormones@gmail.com. Follow us on social, all the places. See y'all next week. Happy Hump Day.
Bye.
Bye.